Quoi. Okay. Next. Hala, naghangata. Okay, wait lang.
Okay po.
Hala, naghang.
Nag-ano po siya, may sa screen po siya na nag-ano ng record.
Sorry. I forgot to tell. Is it okay if I'll record? Kasi require ng Language Academy for me to record at least one lesson.
Okay po. No.
Okay, sige. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem po.
Kaso naghang. Naghang siya. Okay, wait lang.
Ay,
Paano
sa screen
to?
po?
Ayaw gumalaw. Nina-next ko yung slide. Ayaw niya. Actually, kanina pa naghahang yung laptop ko. Ewan ko bakit. May virus ata. Hala, paano to? Ayaw niya. Okay, wait lang ha.
Sige po.
Okay, naghang. Okay, let me try to present again. Ayan. Okay, kita mo ba yung PowerPoint presentation ko, Jason?
Apa.
Okay, sige. Okay, so as I was saying, okay, avoir froid. Okay, so avoir froid means nilalamigan or you're cold during winter, no? So to be cold. Pero never say je suis froid, which means I am cold. So parang when you say je suis froid,
Okay po.
parang you'd like to stay away from other people or you're introvert. So when you say j'ai froid, it means I am cold. Okay, so j'ai froid.
Okay. J'ai froid.
J'ai froid, yes. And then next idiomatic expressions we have avoir faim.
Avoir froid.
Yes, very good. So literally, this means to have hunger, which makes sense in English, but just sounds rather absurd. Instead, in French, this expression means to be hungry. So when you say j'ai faim, it means you're hungry. No, so j'ai faim. So it is, yes, it is the conjugated verb of to be hungry. So j'ai faim, avoir faim. Okay, next expression, we have avoir soif.
Avoir soif.
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 Yes, very good. So this construction, which means to be thirsty, closely resembles hunger. So you should find it easy to remember the two of them. So again, when you want to say nauuhaw ako, you can say j'ai soif.
J'ai soif.
Yes, very good. And then next idiomatic expression we have avoir l'air.
Avoir l'air.
Very good. So avoir l'air in Tagalog means hitsurang. For example, hitsurang pagod, hitsurang gutom. Okay. Yon. So example, when you look tired, you can say avoir l'air fatigué.
Okay. Avoir l'air fatigué.
Very good. So the literal translation of this expression, which means to seem, is to have the air, which is very close to seem in English. So you seem tired, you can say avoir l'air fatigué. Okay, so by the way, fatigué means tired in French. So fatigué.
Okay, tired.
Okay, fatigué. Next expression or next idiomatic expression, we have avoir sommeil.
Avoir sommeil.
Yes, very good. So you can use this phrase, which means to be sleepy, when you want to indicate that someone is tired or sleepy, including yourself. But when you want to say, inaantok ako, you can say, j'ai sommeil.
J'ai sommeil.
Very good, which means I am sleepy.
Sleepy.
Yes. And then next expression, we have avoir blanc en, which means to be blank years old. Okay, so for example, When you want to say to be 10 years old, you say avoir 10 ans.
Avoir 10 ans.
Or to be 12 years old is avoir 12 ans.
Avoir 12 ans.
Yes. Or to be 29 years old is avoir 29 ans.
Avoir 29 ans.
Yes. Avoir 29 ans. Okay. So you can use this phrase when you want to indicate that you are of a particular age. Literally, it means to have years, as in, j'ai 30 ans, which means I'm 30 years old. To remember this expression, it may help you mentally tack on the phrase under my belt to the end of the sentence. So I have 20 years under my belt is a perfectly acceptable English colloquialism. So this way it makes sense. Just remember not to say it out loud. But avoir blank en means basically you are, for example, 30 years old, you're 29 years old. So you are, and then your years of age. And the next idiomatic expression we have avoir mal.
Avoir mal.
Yes, very good. So this expression is used to describe an ache or pain and is followed by the preposition a and a noun with the definite article to indicate the source of the pain. An example is il a mal à la tête.
Il a mal à la tête.
Very good, which means he has a headache. So when you say mal à la tête, it means headache, or you have an ache at the head. So headache. So mal à la tête.
Mal à la tête.
Yes. And then next expression we have avoir tort.
Avoir tort.
Very good. So there's no separate verb for wrong. Instead, this idiomatic expression is used and it means to be wrong. So for example, when you want to say I was wrong, you can say j'ai eu tort.
J'ai eu tort.
Very good. Okay. Next, kabaliktaran naman ng avoir tort, it is avoir raison.
Avoir raison.
Very good. So this phrase is the opposite of avoir tort and means to be right.
Okay.
Next idiomatic expression, we have avoir besoin de.
Avoir besoin de.
Very good. So literally, this phrase would translate as to have a need for. When translating into English, a close approximation is to need. The phrase j'ai besoin de lait means I need milk. Again, j'ai besoin
J'ai besoin
de lait.
de lait.
Yes, which means I need milk. Or for example, we want to say I am in need of water. You can say j'ai besoin
J'ai besoin
de l'eau.
de l'eau.
Very good. Okay, so avoir besoin de. Yes. Any questions so far?
Okay naman po.
Okay, good. And the next idiomatic expression we have avoir peur de.
Avoir peur de.
Very good. So when translating this expression, which means to be afraid, you can also use the verb to fear. For example, I am afraid of spiders. You can say j'ai peur des araignées.
J'ai peur des araignées.
Des araignées.
Des araignées.
Very good. And I am afraid of frogs is j'ai peur
J'ai peur
des grenouilles.
des grenouilles.
Very good. So what are you afraid of, Jason? So that we can construct the sentence with your fear.
Ano ba yung heights?
Okay, j'ai peur des. Okay, let me type
J'ai
it.
peur des. Okay.
Hauteur. Okay, so I'll type it. So you say j'ai peur des hauteurs. So heights is hauteur. So I am.
J'ai peur des
Hauteur.
hauteur.
Very good.
Okay.
So I am afraid of heights.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, next idiomatic expression we have avoir honte de.
Avoir honte de.
Yes, so honte means shame. So it literally means to have shame about something. A more common translation is to be ashamed of something. Okay, so for example, when you want to say, I'm ashamed of my pimples, for example, you can say, j'ai honte de mes boutons.
Bouton.
Yes, which is pimples.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so j'ai honte.
J'ai honte
De mes
de mes
boutons.
boutons.
Yes, which means I am ashamed of my pimples. Next
Ang
expression,
button,
yes,
question ng button,
yes,
pimples.
yes, it's pimples.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it also means button.
Yeah.
So yeah, diba? So
Kaya medyo ako sabi, button. Okay, okay.
Kasi wala siyang specific word for pimples in French. So we call pimples bouton. Okay, bouton.
Okay.
Yes. And yung lasso, if I'm not mistaken, is bouton de fièvre.
Lasso, button.
De fièvre.
Okay, the shell.
Okay. Next expression, we have avoir envie de.
Avoir and envie do.
Yes, very good. So in the English equivalent of this expression, that means to feel like. Feel like is often followed by the word ending in ing, like reading. So after the French idiomatic expression, the infinitive of the verb is used. So for example, when you want to say, I don't feel like eating, you can say, je n'ai pas.
Je n'ai pas.
Envie.
Envie.
De manger.
De manger.
Okay, very good. So avoir envie de. For example, when I'm craving chocolate, I can say, j'ai envie de chocolat. J'ai envie de chocolat. Yeah.
And envie.
Yes, chocolat is chocolate in French.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Next expression, we have avoir lieu.
Lieu. Avoir lieu.
Very good. So Jason, are you fond of writing emails or no?
Hindi po.
Hindi. Kasi sa emails, nandun yung, for example, in lieu of the event. So if you're fond of writing emails, you would know what lieu means. So lieu means in place of. Okay. So you can use this phrase to describe the meaning of almost any event. It means to take place. So for example, when you want to say, my wedding will take place tomorrow, you can say, mon mariage.
Mon mariage
aura lieu.
Aura lieu.
Demain.
Demain.
Very good. So when you say demain, it is tomorrow. So again, yes, very good. So again, the idiomatic expression avoir lieu.
Avoir lieu.
Very good. Next expression we have to be lucky. So to be lucky is avoir de la chance.
Avoir de la chance.
Chance.
Chance. Chance. Chance.
Chance.
Chance.
Yes. So chance means luck. We can wish someone good luck by saying bonne chance. Okay. So in order to say that someone, yes, very good. In order to say that someone is lucky, use this idiomatic expression. You are lucky is tu as de la chance.
Tu as de la chance.
Very good. So again, the idiomatic expression is avoir de la chance.
Avoir de la chance.
Very good. Chance. Do not forget to pronounce the
medyo
sound at the end.
Chance.
Chance. Because when you say chance, it means another thing. So you have to say chance. Okay, chance.
Chance.
Yes, very good. Chance. Okay. Next idiomatic expression we have to have the opportunity, or in French, Avoir l'occasion de.
Avoir l'occasion de.
Very good. So in English, this phrase usually means to have the opportunity. It can also be translated as to have the chance, but be sure not to confuse it with avoir de la chance. Okay, so for example, to have the opportunity to talk to you, you can say avoir l'occasion
l'occasion
de te
de te
parler.
parler.
Very good. Okay, so that is it for the first lesson. So I will be giving you a second lesson since marami pa tayong time. So I'll be giving you an assignment about the idiomatic expressions, Jason. So can you check it later?
Okay, sige po.
So you would
Okay.
have to form sentences with the idiomatic expressions we have learned today.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just present our second lesson for today. Wait for a while now. Okay, so for the second lesson, Jason, we learn about the present participle and asking questions and giving orders. For objectives today about this lesson, learn about the present participle in French and how to give orders and ask questions in French. So by the way, Jason, do you have any questions about our previous lesson?
Okay naman po, ma'am, na ano ko naman po siya. Itong ngayon po?
Yung idiomatic expressions kanina.
Okay po.
Okay.
Okay naman po siya. I-review ko rin po siya ulit mamaya.
Yes. Pero meron kang assignment. So you would have definitely to review the sentences. No? And also sentence construction tayo. So review tayo sa mga articles, okay, sa mga adjectives. Ayun. Okay, so move on na tayo sa next lesson natin, which is the present participle.
Okay.
Okay, so what is the present participle? The form of a verb ending in ing in English, which is used in forming continuous sentences. So for example, in I'm thinking, alone in the non-finite clauses, in sitting here as a noun, and in good thinking as an adjective, and in running water. So in English, you often use verb forms that end in ing. Okay, to describe actions. Sometimes these are used as verbs or adjectives, while other times they are used as nouns. We refer to these words as present participles. So note, do not confuse the present participle with the past participle. Okay, so remember yung past participle na pinag-aralan natin. So the past participle is used in compound tenses such as the passé composé, the plus que parfait, the subjunctive, and the futur antérieur, which don't worry, in our future lessons we would learn about. Okay, so the present participle in French always has the equivalent of an English verb ending in ing, even if the word isn't being used as a verb. So in French, the present participle is based on the nous or us form.
Okay.
Wait long. Okay, of the present indicative conjugation. To form the present participle, simply drop the ONS ending from the present conjugation of the new form and replace it with ANT. Yes, for example, in this table, we have the present participles, which is right here. So, eto, meron tayong infinitive verb form. And then we have the new form. Okay, so remember, nous is, je tu, il, elle, nous. Okay, that is the second plural possessive pronoun or personal pronoun. Okay, the second plural possessive pronoun. Okay, nous. Okay, and here we have the present participle, which ends in ANT, and here we have its English translation. So let's take a first example with speaking. Speaking is parler in the infinitive form.
Parler.
Yes, parler. How about the new form? It is parlons.
Parlons.
Yes, pero sa present participle, it is parlons.
Parlo.
Very good. So, kung napansin mo, we dropped the ONS and we replaced it with ANT.
ANT.
Yes. Okay, another example, running. Infinitive is courir.
Courir.
Yes, its new form is courons.
Courons.
And its present participle is courant.
Courons.
Courant.
Courant.
Yes, kasi yung courant and courant is very different, no? Yung sa courant, parang dinadrop mo yung jaw mo. Well, courant
Okay.
is parang mas mabilog. So, courant and courant.
Courant. Courant.
Okay. And then, third one, we have seeing. Okay, so to see or seeing.
Okay.
Its infinitive form is voir.
Voir.
The new form is voyons.
Voyons.
And its present participle is voyant.
Voyant.
Yes. And then next verb, we have one thing. So its infinitive is vouloir.
Vouloir.
Yes, very good. Its new form is voulons.
Voulons.
And its present participle is voulant.
Voulons.
Yes, very good. Next verb, we have studying. Studying in the infinitive form is étudier.
Étudier.
Very good. The new form is étudiant.
Étudiant.
Present participle is étudiant.
Étudiant.
Yes, very good. Next verb, we have taking. So its infinitive is prendre.
Prendre.
The new form is prenons.
Prenons.
Present participle is prenons.
Prenons.
Very good. Next verb, we have hearing. So hearing in the infinitive form is entendre.
Entendre.
Very good. New form is entendons.
Entendons.
Present participle is entendant.
Entendons.
Very good. And then last verb, we have working. Working in the infinitive form is travailler.
Travailler.
New form is travaillons.
Travaillons.
And its present participle is travaillant.
Travaillons.
Very good. So in the infinitive form, when you want to say, so here are some examples. No? To work is important. You say travailler
Travailler.
est important.
Travailler est important.
Yes, est important. Because remember, you make the liaison between consonant T followed by vowel I. So travailler est important.
Okay.
Okay, next we have travaillons, which is the new form. So remember the new form, which is us. Okay,
Yeah,
so when you want to say
travaillons.
when you want to say we work every day, you can say nous travaillons.
Nous travaillons
Tous les jours.
tous les jours.
Very good. And when you want to say in working, I save some money. You can say, so this is the present participle, yung pinag-aaralan natin na yun. Okay, you can say en travaillant.
Ah, en travaillant,
J'ai économisé
j'ai économisé
de l'argent.
de l'argent.
Very good. So when you say de l'argent, it is some money. So in working, I saved some money. Yes, very good. So en travaillant is the present participle. So fortunately, there are only 3 irregular present participles. Être, sorry. Okay, avoir, être, and savoir.
Savoir.
Yes, avoir, être, and savoir. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so irregular present participles. So first we have having. Its infinitive is avoir.
Avoir.
But its present participle is ayant.
Iyong.
Yes, iyong. So, kaya siyang tinatawag na irregular kasi yung sa present participle niya, sobrang magkaiba. Okay, so iyong. Okay. Next verb, we have being. So, its infinitive is être.
Et.
Yes, and its present participle is étant.
Etong.
Yes, very good. And then knowing is savoir.
Savoir.
Its present participle is sachant.
Sasyong.
Very good. Okay. And then here we have some examples. Okay, so the present participle is by knowing that you were here, I went downstairs. So in French, ayant su.
Iyong shu.
Yes, su is the past participle of the verb to know, okay, which is from the verb savoir. So ayant su
Iyong shu.
que,
Su.
yes,
Ku.
tu étais là.
Tu étais là.
Yes, tu étais là means you were here. J'ai descendu.
J'ai descendu.
Yes, very good. So by knowing that you were here, I went downstairs. And then with the verb étant, we have being here as a professor, I want to teach well. So étant ici.
Étant ici.
Yes, ici means here. Huh? So étant
Okay.
ici,
Ici.
comme professeur,
Comme professeur.
je veux,
Je veux.
which means I want, enseigner
Enseigner.
bien.
Bien.
Yes, teach well. Okay, and then next verb, which is sachant. So lahat ng to naka-present participle ha.
Okay po.
Yes. So knowing that you were a good student, I know that you will advance well. So in French, sachant
Sachant
que tu
que tu
es
es
une bonne
une bonne
étudiante,
étudiante.
je sais
Je sais
que tu vas
que tu vas
bien avancer.
bien avancer.
Okay, sorry, this is not avancer. It's avancer without a D.
Avancer.
Sorry, I'll just correct it. Okay.
Okay.
Ayan, avancer. Okay. So in English, we often use the present participle ing form of a verb as the present participle in the present. But we also use it to form other compound tenses. So consider the following examples. I was walking to the store. I am speaking to the man. I will be going to Paris. Take care not to confuse the French past participle with the English present participle. In compound tenses in French, it is the past participle that is used. Okay, English only has one participle, so it must pull double duty. French has two distinct and separate ones, so be careful with them. When translating from English to French, simply determine the actual tense of the verb and translate accordingly. So don't automatically assume that every time you see a word ending in ing in English, that the present participle will be used in French. Okay, so Jason, wait lang magsasara lang ako ng bintana kasi they're burning garbage. Medyo
Okay,
wait lang ha.
Sure po. Okay po. Sige po. Lobat yung iPad.
Ay, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so going back, present participle as an adjective. So in English, we often use the present participle as an adjective, using it to modify a noun. The present participle does the same thing in French. So for example, when you want to say a beautiful house, you say une belle maison.
Une belle maison.
Yes. Okay. And then a beautiful man is un bel homme.
Un bel homme.
Yes. And a handsome boy is un beau garçon.
Un beau Garçon.
Yes, very good. So the descriptive adjective should be in accordance with the noun. So une belle maison, kasi maison is feminine. So it should be in accordance with if it's either feminine or masculine. And then present participle as a noun. As mentioned previously, the participle in English can also be used as a noun. Consider the following examples. Speaking is my favorite pastime. Reading is a fun hobby. I love singing songs. So each of these ing words is technically being used as a noun, even though they appear to be verbs. Speaking is the subject of the sentence. Only things can be subjects. So what we call a gerund. Okay, so what is a gerund? It is the definition of a verbal noun, which basically means that a verb is being used in a sentence construction as a noun. Therefore, the participle can be the subject of the sentence or the object, as with singing. In French, gerund is represented by the infinitive of the verb instead of using a participle. So for example, in French, speaking is my favorite hobby. So parler
Parler
est
mon
passe-temps
passe-temps
favori.
favori.
Very good. So, sa tingin mo, Jason, nasaan yung gerund sa French sentence na to? So, speaking is?
Speaking yung gerund?
Yes. Speaking is the gerund. So, where it is in the French sentence? Kasi isn't it, we mentioned it several times before, yung verb na yon.
Okay.
So, what is the gerund in the French sentence? Remember again, speaking is the gerund. So where is speaking in the French sentence? Hello, are you still with me?
Yeah, okay po, medyo naguguluhan lang.
Okay, sige. Kasi remember, na-conjugate natin yung verb na yon before.
Opo.
So which verb is that in the French sentence? Kita mo ba yung sentence here?
Ay, yung parler?
Yes, very good.
Passe.
So, I thought you already said it. So, alin yung gerund doon?
Parler?
Yes, very good. Parler, which is speaking. Okay, so therefore, parler is the gerund. Okay, kasi a gerund is a verbal noun. So, it can pull double duty. It can be a verb, but it can also be a noun. Okay, so that is what we call a gerund. Okay, so how to determine a gerund and a participle? Is the participle being used as a verb in a compound construction? If so, then the participle is part of the verb. When translating into French is the appropriate tense. And then if it is used in the present tense, the French verb is conjugated in a present indicative. As the present indicative conjugation encompasses the English present participles, like constructions which I am walking, or je marche.
Je marche.
So again, how to determine a gerund? If it is in a compound sentence and if it is part of the verb. Okay, if the participle is part of the verb. Okay, and then second, if it is conjugated in a present indicative, then the present indicative conjugation encompasses the English present participle in constructions like I am walking. Okay, if the English participle is being used in the past tense, an auxiliary verb is required in French with the past participle. If the participle is being used in the future tense, it will take either the future tense or the futur antérieur, depending on a sentence. So what are the two auxiliary verbs again?
Is it and avoir?
Yes, very good. Être and Avoir.
Avoir.
Yes. So is the participle being used to modify a noun? If so, then the participle is an adjective. Okay. And the French present participle is used. Remember that it must match in gender and in number with the noun it is modifying. And then is the participle being used as a noun? Does it appear as the subject or object of the sentence? If so, it is a gerund. And a participle is not used in French. Instead, an infinitive is used. So kung napansin mo, puro infinitive yung ginagamit sa gerund. So for example, when we want to say I am walking fast, you say je marche.
Je marche.
Vite.
Vite.
Yeah, so vite means fast. Okay, and then,
Fast. Okay.
yes. Ay, ano nagawa ko? Okay, and then walking fast is good for your health. So marcher.
Marcher.
Vite.
Vite.
Est bon.
Et bon.
Pour la santé.
Pour la santé.
Yeah, so as you can see, we have the gerund, which is marcher. Because marcher is, yes, marcher is the infinitive form. Okay, so does it have the sense of by, while, or upon doing something? If so, the following construction using en is required. The preposition en is used in French with the present participle to convey the English sense of by, while, or upon. This construction will often appear at the beginning of a sentence to set the mood or context of the sentence. So for example, when you want to say by reading, I learned a great deal of information, you say en lisant.
En lisant.
J'ai appris.
J'ai appris.
Beaucoup.
Beaucoup.
D'informations.
D'information.
Very good. So, ito yung present participle natin, which is en lisant. Okay.
En lisant.
Yes, en lisant. And then you have participles from the past using infinitives with après. Okay, so in English, we often say things like, after having read the first book, I started the second. After having read is a special construction that uses the participle in English. In French, instead of using the past or present participle, the infinitive form is used, like manger, or to eat. Much like the construction of the French gerund. The preposition après, meaning after, is used in French to achieve this result. In a construction known as the past infinitive. To form the past infinitive in French, simply use the infinitive of avoir or être and follow it with the French past participle. So for example, after I ate, I slept. In French, après.
Après.
Avoir.
Avoir.
Manger.
Manger.
J'ai dormi.
J'ai dormi.
Yes, very good. J'ai dormi. So after having eaten or after I ate, I slept. Okay, so après avoir mangé, j'ai dormi. Another example, after having called my mother, after having heard, I called my mother. So in French, après.
Après.
Avoir. Hello.
Avoir, entendu.
Okay, entendu, very good. J'ai téléphoné.
À ma mère.
Very good. J'ai téléphoné à ma mère. Okay. And then after having seen it, he left. Après.
Vous.
Hello. Medyo choppy, I think. I think I'm losing you. Okay, so again, après.
Avoir. Vous. Il est parti.
Very good. So after having seen it, he left. And then after having come back, I went to bed. So après.
Après,
être.
être, revenu,
Very good. Je me
et
suis.
je me suis couché.
Very good. So after having come back, I went to bed. Okay, very good. So must agree in gender and number with the subject. So after having come back, they went to bed. So après,
Après,
être
après,
revenu.
revenus,
Revenu.
revenu.
Yes, very good. Elles se sont
Se sont
couchées.
couchées.
Very good. So as you can see, we have elle, which is they, but in the feminine form. So it should be in accordance with the subject. So revenu, which is in the feminine plural form, and couché, which is also in the feminine plural form. Okay, do you get it so far, Jason? Okay, any questions?
Gets ko po. Okay naman po. Medyo sa pronunciation, medyo konti lang po yun.
Yes, konting
Medyo
practice
may
pa,
konti
no?
pa.
So suggest ko lang you should read and read again so that you practice your
Yeah.
pronunciation in French. Yes. Okay, next we have asking questions
Kaya
and giving. Yes.
gumawa rin po ako ng
Alin? Sorry.
sinulat ko rin po para
Sinulat
sa
mo.
notebook po, sinusulat ko po yung ibang mga sentence or ano man po para tinatranslate ko sa English para madali pong makabisado.
Okay, very good. Okay, so you're taking down some notes. Okay, now let's move on to asking questions and giving orders. So this chapter helps you ask questions in a variety of ways. Something you may need to do a lot if you're traveling to a French-speaking country and giving orders or imperatives, such as telling someone to fetch me that French dictionary. So asking basic questions. So in French, there are a few different ways to ask questions. The most common are inversion, est-ce que, and intonation. With inversion, it involves changing the word order in the sentence, putting the verb before the subject pronoun. English does the same thing. For example, you are going to the store is a declarative sentence. To create a question, you may ask, are you going to the store? You is a subject pronoun, appears first in the declarative sentence, immediately before the verb are. In an inverted question, however, the verb begins the sentence and the pronoun directly follows the verb. So for example, comment allez-vous? Comment vous appelez-vous? Or parlez-vous anglais? So all of those are inversion. Okay, kasi yung subject pronoun comes after the verb or yung verb na una sa subject pronoun. So in order to ask a question using inversion, the subject and the object are reversed. In written French, a hyphen is placed between the two words to indicate their relationship. In spoken French, anytime you hear a verb come before the subject, remember that you're being asked a question. So first, let us know how to ask questions with est-ce que. Okay. Yes, which literally means is that, is it that? Okay. Est-ce que is it that? So for example, when you want to say, is that what you were looking for? You say, est-ce que?
Est-ce que?
C'est ça.
C'est ça.
Que tu cherchais.
Tu cherchais?
Yes, que tu cherchais.
Que tu
cherchais. Yes, very good.
Chercher.
Chercher. Okay. And then asking questions with interrogative pronouns. So in English, you often begin questions by asking who or what. These are known as interrogative pronouns. French uses a similar set of interrogative pronouns that ask questions about unidentified people or things. The following section outlines their uses. So asking questions about people. Okay, so qui is the French interrogative pronoun used to ask questions about people. It has the English equivalent of who or whom, depending on how it is used with the sentence. The following list explains the occasions when qui is used. Later in this section, you'll find how to use similar constructions to ask questions about things. Hala, naghang na naman. Okay.
Nagang po yung ulit yung...
Yes, naghang ulit. Sorry. Okay. Ayun yung gumalaw. Oh. Okay, wait lang ha. I think it's because
Sige
of
po,
the
sige po.
internet connection. Okay, let me share again. Ayan. Okay, where were we? Okay, next we have asking questions about people. So qui is the French interrogative pronoun used to ask questions about people. It has the English equivalent of who or whom, depending on how it is used within the sentence. The following list explains occasions when qui is used. Later in this section, you find out how to use similar constructions to ask questions about things. So first we have qui as the subject of the sentence. For example, when you want to ask who is here, you say qui est ici?
Qui est ici?
Yes. And who came last night is qui est venu hier soir?
Qui est venu hier soir?
Very good. Okay, so you may also encounter the phrase qui est ce qui? And qui est ce qui?
Qui est qui?
Yes, used to start a question. This is just a longer way of doing things. The above construction works equally well and is preferred in most circumstances, but be aware that qui est ce qui exists. And then you have qui as the direct object of the sentence. So qui does not have to be the subject of the sentence. It can also be used as the object. When used in this way, the question must be formed a little differently, because the proper subject and verb must be used along with one of the traditional ways of forming a question using either est-ce que or inversion of the subject and verb. Qui is still placed at the beginning of the sentence, even though it is technically the object of the sentence. So for example, when you want to say, who are you looking at? You say, qui regardes-tu?
Qui regardes-tu?
Very good. And who are you looking at is qu'est-ce que
Qu'est-ce que
tu regardes?
tu regardes?
Very good. And then you have qui used with the preposition. So when qui is used with a verb that normally takes a preposition, used with its object, the preposition is placed at the beginning of the sentence with qui immediately following it. The rest of the sentence is then formed the same as if qui were simply appearing as the object, using est-ce que or inversion. So for example, when you want to say, who have you spoken to? You say, à qui?
À qui
Avez-vous
avez-vous
parlé?
parlé?
Or who do you need to talk to? You say, à qui est-ce que
À qui est-ce que
tu as
tu as
besoin
besoin
de parler?
de parler?
Very good. So when qui is used with a preposition, it appears as the object and also translate as whom in English. The above sentences could also be translated as to whom have you spoken and to whom do you need to talk. Refer to the previous point, qui as the direct object of the sentence. Okay, and then we have asking other kinds of questions. When you're not asking specifically about the person, French uses a different construction. Instead of using qui, one of the following variations is used. You can use this interrogative pronoun to ask about actions, ideas, situations, and things, but never people. So for example, we have qui, which is who. Okay, who is qui?
Qui?
Yes, what is quoi?
Okay.
When is quand?
Quoi?
Yes.
Quand?
And where is où?
Où?
Very good. Okay. Next, we have qu'est-ce qui as the subject of the sentence. So this one will be relatively easy for you as it is used whenever What is the subject of the sentence in English? Make sure, however, that what is in fact the subject of the sentence. If it is actually the object, the construction in the following point, qu'est-ce que, is used. So for example, what happens in the book? Qu'est-ce qui
Qu'est-ce qui
se passe
se passe
dans le livre?
dans le livre?
And what amused you about the broadcast? Qu'est-ce qui
Qu'est-ce qui
t'amuse
t'amuse
de l'émission?
de l'émission?
Very good. So because it is used as a subject of the sentence, the verb must be used in a third person singular. Any pronouns you see between the phrase and the verb will be object or reflexive pronouns, not the subject pronouns. Don't let them confuse you into thinking that they are the actual subject. And then you have que as the object of the sentence. So you must be careful when using these constructions in French, because English tends to put what at the beginning of the sentence, regardless of whether it's the direct object or the subject. Only when the word what forms the subject of the sentence is qu'est-ce qui used, as outlined above. Many times in English, the what that begins this section is actually the direct object. Consider the following English examples. What did you do last night? What are you doing at the hospital? And what did you take to the game? In all of these sentences, what is the direct object? You is the subject. Be careful not to get them confused because the direct object interrogative pronoun takes a different form in French. Que is used as the interrogative pronoun, which translates in this case as what. It must be used with either est-ce que or inversion when it appears in front of the subject pronoun that begins with a vowel. It contracts, losing the final E and adding an apostrophe. So for example, when you want to say that he has, you say qu'il a.
Qu'il a.
Yes, qu'il a. And for example, what did he do last night? Qu'est-ce qu'il
Qu'est-ce qu'il
a fait
a fait
hier soir?
hier soir?
Yes. And what are you going to do tomorrow? Qu'est-ce que
Qu'est-ce que
tu vas faire
tu vas faire
demain? Yes, very good. So in these examples, the subject pronoun is present. So if you come across such a construction, you'll know that it is an object. When it is used immediately followed by a verb, you'll know that it is the subject. So study the English translations to see the difference in how the subject appears. Be careful because there's a verb that follows the word what. Think of this as an English way of introducing the question and pay close attention so you don't have to make what the subject in French. The word que doesn't always mean what. You will encounter que in different contexts where it has other meanings. And then you have quoi as the object of the preposition. Instead of using que as the object of the preposition, quoi is used instead. It also translates to what when used in this construction. Its form follows the same pattern as qui, with the preposition appearing at the beginning of a sentence, being followed immediately by an interrogative pronoun. The rest of the sentence is constructed normally, using either est-ce que or inversion to complete the question. So for example, what were you playing last week? You say à quoi?
À quoi
As-tu
as-tu
joué
joué la
semaine dernière?
Joué
Yes.
la semaine dernière?
Very good. And what was Philip talking about? De quoi?
De quoi
Est-ce
est-ce
que?
que
Yes, you go on.
Philippe
À parler.
a parlé?
Very good.
A parlé.
So the majority of these uses will be idiomatic, as English verbs are often handled differently than in French when it comes to how prepositions are used. So note, qu'est-ce que c'est is a very common French phrase. When pronounced, it is completely run together, so it sounds like qu'est-ce que c'est. It's pronounced a lot shorter than it looks. And if you try to pronounce it like it reads, you may not be understood. So you pronounce it as Qu'est-ce que c'est? Okay, other uses of Qu'est-ce que. So Qu'est-ce que can also be used to ask other kinds of questions, such as what is that? In French, this is done using variations of the French phrase Qu'est-ce que c'est, which means what is it? This construction can be used to ask for more information about something when followed with a noun, or can ask for a general definition when used with a pronoun. So what is that is Qu'est-ce que c'est ça?
Qu'est-ce que c'est ça?
Very good. And what is the title is Qu'est-ce que?
Qu'est-ce que?
C'est le titre.
C'est le titre.
Very good. Okay, and then using the interrogative adjective quel. Okay, so in chapters 9 and 10,
Quel.
you can learn, yes, you can learn a number of pronouns and adjectives. There's another adjective quel, meaning what or which. That you can use also to ask questions in French. As an adjective, it must agree in gender and in number with the noun it is modifying. So in masculine, you have quel. And in feminine, it is
Quel.
double L-E. Yes, so quel, double L-E.
Okay.
And when you want to make it plural, just add an S. Okay, so in chapter 9, you can find about the relative pronoun lequel. Okay, so quel is used in a variety of similar fashion, but it is used to ask a question meaning what or which. Okay, so the following list outlines the usage of the interrogative adjective quel. So simple questions. Quel can be used to begin a sentence and ask the question what or which. The verb être is used, and the noun quel modifies its place immediately following the verb. For example, when you want to say, what is your name? You say, quel est ton nom?
Quel est ton nom?
Yes, or what is your favorite color is, quelle est
Quelle est
ta couleur
ta couleur
préférée?
préférée?
Very good. And then quel modifying the subject. Quel can also be used to modify the subject of the sentence. When this happens, quel begins the sentence, placed immediately before the noun that's acting as the subject of the sentence. Quel forms the question for you. You do not need to add est-ce que or use inversion in this construction. For example, which person wrote this book? You say quelle personne
Quelle personne
a écrit
a écrit
ce livre?
ce livre?
Very good. And then quel modifying the object. Quel can also modify the object of a sentence. Simply place quel at the beginning of a sentence and place the noun it modifies immediately after it. So either est-ce que or inversion can then be used to complete the question. So what book did you read? You say quel livre
Quel livre
as-tu lu?
as-tu lu?
Yes. And which man did you see? Quel homme
Quel homme
est-ce que
est-ce que
vous avez vu?
vous savez-vous?
Very good. So what man did you see? And then quel modifying the object of a preposition. Okay, so when quel is used to modify a noun that's been used as the object of a preposition, the preposition is placed at the beginning of the sentence with the proper form of quel immediately following it. The noun being modified is then placed directly after quel with inversion or est-ce que being used to complete the question. Okay, so for example, to which store are you going? À quel magasin allez-vous?
À quel magasin allez-vous?
Very good. And about which book are you speaking? Or which book are you talking about? De quel
De quel
roman
roman
est-ce que
est-ce que
tu parles?
tu parlais?
Tu
Tu
parles.
parlais?
No,
Tu
it's not
parles,
tu
tu
parlais,
parles.
it's tu parles.
Yeah.
Okay, tu parles with an S.
Tu parles.
Second person, okay, second person singular. So each sentence, while not being grammatically perfect, is completely acceptable in English. In English, as in French, we like to put the what at the beginning of the sentence. Although this ends up leaving prepositions at the end of a sentence, this is commonly done in English. So feel free to translate when things sound normal and not stilted. All right, so we came already into an end of our second lesson for today. Okay, so I'll be uploading the lessons on our group chat. Okay, next meeting we have interrogative adverbs. And don't forget your assignment, ha?
Okay po.
Okay.
Gagawin ko po siya. At
Yes.
isend ko
So,
na rin po ulit dun sa group.
okay, next week na or before Tuesday, no? So, ikaw bahala kung kailan mo gagawin.
Okay.
Okay, so maraming salamat, Jason.
Okay.
Merci beaucoup. Au
Maraming
revoir.
salamat. Merci beaucoup mo.
Au revoir.
Au
Bonne
revoir.
journée.
Okay. Merci. Au revoir.
Merci. Au
Au revoir.
revoir.
Au revoir. Au revoir.